Welcome to the Tina Parker Show, where we burn the bullshit, speak the truth, and build brands that break chains. I'm Tina Parker, spiritual badass, truth teller, and the woman who turns pain into purpose. If you're ready to lead with fire, heal out loud, and drop the damn mic, you're home.
What's up? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. Yesterday I went live and the computer just completely shut down. I don't know if it was a connection. I don't know if it was something on YouTube side. I don't know what happened, but I was like, was that a sign? I wasn't supposed to talk about this. I don't know. So let's pray. Give me a little prayer that this episode goes off without a hitch. And I'm excited. I'm creating a new outline for my day. And I hope that you'll join me in the mornings for an episode. Okay, you guys, this is important. Yesterday I spent hours studying on things that are going on and gaining my own understanding around it. And I'm here to help you. If you're seeing things, you're confused and not sure what's going on, I'm here to help solve some problems. Okay, so the great financial reset, I did put that in there. Okay, how AI, crypto, and bank failures. There's also been a lot of car dealerships closures. There's a lot of wild things going on in the world. You might be experiencing it, you might be seeing it, and kind of in a state of panic. I want to tell you that you can rise above it. You just need to understand what's going on. So I'm here to bring that truth. And if you know someone that needs to learn more about that and something clicks with you, share this out. Share this with them so that it helps them. Okay. All right. Let's move forward. Okay. So they told us the economy was stable. How many of you have heard everything is fine, the economy's stabling out, okay? But behind the scenes, there's a lot of things going on, and you might see some news headlines and all this stuff. And so it creates some uneasiness, you can't figure out what's going on. I hope I can help clear that up today, okay? Um so that inflation was cooling, okay, that jobs were safe. But you know that AI is replacing hundreds of thousands, I mean, so many jobs. I mean, one business could be letting go of 30,000 people at a time. So it is a thing. And so this episode's going to help you know how you can rise above it, okay? But suddenly we have dealerships are closing. Some of you might not be in the dealership space. You might not be aware of it, but I pay close attention to that space. I have a lot of friends in that space. I used to work in that industry. I used to lend. I have many relationships from dealership side because I was a lender and work closely with them. I have, so I want to make sure that these these folks are taken care of. They know what's going. I want everyone aware, all right? So, but suddenly we have dealerships are closing. Major groups like the Cantor Group V are under investigation. Auto parts companies, there's a huge company called First Brands. I think it was First Brands. They are a major player in on the auto parts side. They're filing Chapter 11. There's a lot of questionable things that have gone on with that. And I've been in the banking side for many years that I experienced when we had dealerships that were um, actually getting car loans. So they would kind of similar to what this company has done, but what they would do is they would get duplicate loans, sometimes three loans on one vehicle, but with three different organizations. Okay, that's the kind of stuff that we're seeing. And billions of dollars are in fraudulent charges are surfacing. Is this chaos or is this a correction? I'm going to talk to you about that today. This is where faith meets fire, truth meets discernment, and fear is replaced with freedom. So let's get real about what's going on in the financial sector right now. In the last few months, we've seen waves of fraud hitting major merchant accounts, dealership networks closing 50, 60, maybe there's even hundreds of locations at once, and financial institutions quietly merging or restructuring their organizations. One of the credit unions that I worked for, I spent 10 years with that organization and love them. Um, they've merged, and I was really surprised by that. I worked for Washington Mutual when we were acquired by JP Morgan Chase. I mean, that happened in 2010. I believe it was 2010. Maybe, no, yeah, something like that. But yeah, that was quite a stir up because we were told, I've been in the organization when we were told everything is fine, everything is fine, like we are safe. You just go out and get business, go talk to the business customers and get their deposits. And, um, I've seen both sides. So I feel like I'm a pretty good, um, I understand, I can see through it. I know both sides. Um, so the systems, so beneath all of these headlines, okay, there's a pattern. This isn't just mismanagement, it's exposure. Some of them are overly exposed in markets, in industries that they're just over leveraged. And if you have a company that went and got three different loans on the same asset, that's a problem. Do you think? I mean, the lender that gets paid from that is usually the one that's in first position, you know? Um, if they get paid, it might, they are restructuring. So, maybe that'll help them. Maybe they'll see some money back. The Cantor Group case is one example: fraudulent activity, inflated numbers, and digital transactions that don't add up. And, so the CEO has stepped down. His brother was also a, executive there, and he has stepped down. But here's the kicker: this isn't just isolation, this is what I see, okay? Me seeing through it the way I do, it's part of a global audit. Okay, it's part of this whole thing of all these leaders and industries that have been doing business, or being greedy, or I mean, this isn't just banking, this is the food industry, this is our religious leaders, this is a huge thing. But today I'm specifically talking about the financial sector, business operations. Everything is being exposed. Okay, and if you understand why it's happening, that's always my question: why is this happening? You can come to your own discernment of understanding. Okay, sometimes we are all pulled back, it's like to prepare us, and so we can be launched into something great, right? Okay, well, this is what I think is happening. It's part of the whole global audit. Okay, we're watching a financial reset unfold in real time. So what's the big picture here? Okay, so when you zoom out, and you see the same script across industries, okay, banks are tightening their lending. Banks are completely changing. I said this in 2014. I was working at a regional bank, and I said, you guys, things are going to be changing. They're not going to need all of us. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be able to go up to an ATM. You might have someone with an iPad there just to have that relationship, or just have a human there in case they need it. But you're going to have systems and processes where it can all be digital. Okay, it's going to be so different. I saw it way back then, and that's kind of when I started. I left in 2014, and then I actually went back to help out in 2017. No, I finally left in 2017. It was 2015, something like that. but it was great. I really enjoyed it. I missed, banking, so it was fun to go back for a little bit. Um, Businesses are restructuring. You're going to see a lot of businesses closing, a lot, because one, they don't adapt to the changing environment, the changing of the way we do business to digital. They're just in a position, especially if they're older folks, our seniors. Um, if they're in their older age of life, they're just not going to want to learn all this stuff. They might be feeling overwhelmed. So it's easier for them to either merge, sell. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for businesses to be purchased. So, you know, it's a great, if you have some money in your little liquid, maybe you want to, maybe, and you're very familiar in the digital space and very familiar with AI and how it works, you could go in and, the business is already making revenue, go in and just make it even better and keep it alive. All right. So AI is replacing entire departments. There's going to be departments in every sector: real estate, title companies, banking, everywhere. There, I mean, everything is going to change because they don't need all those people. We're already seeing it. And there's also a control of currency, and currency controls a lot of people. The transition from physical cash to digital systems and eventually to programmable money gives unprecedented visibility to every transaction, every choice, every person. So, banks or credit unions, if you in the past, they've been able, see, they're exposing this situation where this company had 3 loans with the same asset at 3 different financial institutions, right? Well, the old system allowed that to happen because of the way they titled or put a lien against something, okay? That's all going to change. Everything will be on the blockchain, and the blockchain cannot be effed with, okay? So this is where we're seeing the errors and the issues based on the old system. So it's going to be, people hopefully will understand, we can be more open-minded about this new system, because if that's going to solve that problem, why wouldn't we do that, right? Okay. Yeah. So every transaction, every choice, every person, everything is going to be on the blockchain. But before a new system is introduced, the old one has to fail. It's like our identities. Before we can lean into our new identity, we have to kill the old identity, the old person. So if you grew up in the hood or you're still in the hood and you want more success, you want to live a new life, you see people being successful and you see people moving and shaking, and you're just chomping at the bit, but your circle is in a stuck mindset. Your circle is in survival mode. Your circle is they're not growth mindset. They're like limited thinking, okay? You have to kill that old person with those limited beliefs before you can move into your new identity. This is what's happening with everything, and hopefully people as well. So that's that's why we're seeing these controlled collapses, the exposure of corruption, the exposure of weak leaders and leaders that were controlling and manipulating people. Okay, the liquidation of bad debt and the setup for a new traceable financial grid. Okay, so whether you call it a reset, a reformation, or you know, just a rebuild, what matters is how you respond. Because this is the thing, we can put ourselves in some hole and just, want to pretend like it's not happening. We can freak out, we can lash out, or we can learn, adapt, be open-minded, and get excited about what's to come. So if you knew that you were going to be super successful, you knew there was going to be great opportunity on the other side because you've put in the work and the reps, then you're gonna be that type of person that gets excited because you know there's excitement coming on the other side. Okay, there's beauty on the other side of everything. Okay, there's always dark and there's always light. Okay, and you have to have both. You have to have dark to have light. So embrace the dark, but learn through that, grow, be open-minded. Don't be a closed mindset person where where you don't think you can have more, where you think you need to stay at this low level life. You don't. Okay. Um, so it depends on how you respond. So this is when and where your discernment becomes your greatest asset. Okay. Instead of reacting in fear, start building in faith. Faith has been one of my favorite. I've utilized faith my entire life. Sometimes I didn't really know it was faith, but I just kept moving forward. But my faith and has just always got me through. I don't know why. I just moved. Maybe I was scared, and I was actually scared in a lot of situations because I hadn't done it yet, because um, I didn't graduate high school. I was a dropout. I was a teen mom. I had trauma, when I was young, but I never let that hold me back. I never had like that victim mindset. I just kept kept moving forward. And now that I am where I'm at, I have a strong faith because I I believe in me. I know everything I've already overcome. So I believe in a bigger you know, being, whether you call it source or God or his real name's Yahweh, whatever you call it, okay? Lord, whatever, those are titles. But I also know that I'm a part of him. Like we came from him. We have that in us. So why can't we have it all as well? All right. So we just have to rewire the mind to believe that and then just keep moving forward in fear. All right. So here's some things. Instead of reacting in fear, this is how you can start building in faith. Okay. Um, if you are one that blows a bunch of money and, all of that, kind of get your hand around that, because there's going to be a huge opportunity for you to invest in businesses or buy crypto, buy assets that are going to grow. And you don't want to be caught up if you lose your job and you have a gap of time where you need to um, learn something, a new trade, a new skill before you can move forward. You don't want to be too overexposed. Learn real value creation. So what's real value creation? You are learning how you can create online digitally and help someone move their life forward. That's learning real value creation. Okay. If you can provide a budget, if you're great at creating budgets and you can create a planner for someone or something like that, but you can create tools or services or mindset or, coaching, whatever. Learn real value creation, and you got to get comfortable with going online, because if they don't know you, they can't buy from you. Okay. So diversify income streams into purpose-led businesses. Um, don't be afraid to, have multiple income streams. I've been preaching that for a long time, actually, since I started learning more about income streams, multiple income streams. Educate yourself on the blockchain. How are all these services or new ways of doing money, everything that's wrapped around money or buying a house or anything, okay? Merchant services, how digital currencies actually work. Okay, because we're shifting from an economy of illusion to an economy of integrity. Okay, what's we want integrity in everything, in our leaders, in our church, in government, everything is being exposed so that people can go, oh my gosh, we've had a broken system and we didn't even know it. And the ones who will thrive are the ones grounded in truth and not trends. Okay, this reset isn't about losing, it's about reclaiming what's true, what's real, and um, gaining your own beliefs instead of past beliefs on everything that how you've done everything, even the educational system, schooling and everything. They've indoctrinated people. All right. um I have, so that I wanted to really dive into this because I want people to understand why all of this is happening. This is what most people miss. Every collapse exposes what's been broken. So if you see something going on in the media has been broken. Okay. Religion has been broken because our leadership, they've manipulated people. They haven't based it on truth. And by, um, there's been, it's been proven. Okay. But if you're still going to church and listening to everything they say is, 100% truth, then you're not doing your own research. That's the bottom line. Um, and every reset opens space for something better to be built. That's like pulling that whole thing, pulling it back. I have to remember that myself. Okay, so today we're talking about what's happening in the financial world, but you can adapt and you can rise above it. This isn't a time to panic. Okay, it's just about positioning, learning, growing, evolving through this. Okay, but being aware of yourself, how you're showing up, how you can become better and tap into your own full potential, how you can help others, be a better leader in your home, help bring families back together. I mean, there's just so many areas. So if you've ever felt like the system wasn't built for you, maybe that's because you were never meant to fit inside that one. Okay. You were meant to be part of rebuilding it. Um, let's see. I wanted to make sure I touch on a few things because the way that things are going to be changing is so interesting to me. So here's the reality check. Commercial and regional banks they're going to tighten their credit. Okay. The business debt, real estate loans, we're going to see a lot of commercial lending collapse because a lot of the loans are going to be due for refinance. That means their rates are going up. And a lot of businesses aren't going to be able to handle that. So there's going to be a lot of people wanting to sell their businesses. There's just a huge opportunity for this whole thing. Um, we're also, because of these losses on the bank side, we're going to see a lot of folks or financial institutions merging together or just collapsing. But if they have a high customer count with a lot of money within their organization, they're not going to want to wipe people off the board. You know what I mean? Like they're going to, FDIC and NCUA is going to come in and they're going to do, the government's going to help out. They don't want to see that. The whole thing isn't about people like falling on their face, but it can happen if you're not prepared, if you're not positioned right, all the things. So this is why I'm here. Business debt, real estate loans, and commercial defaults rise. And like I said, those rises are going to happen because they're going to have to refi and they're not going to qualify. AI is replacing repetitive and middle skilled jobs faster than new industries can absorb or displace workers. I was on Reddit and recently and I saw so many people that were writing they were let go of their job, then they got a new job in May, then they've been let go again. So unless you're open-minded and learning how you can serve and you can adapt and understand that there's a lot of opportunity for new ways of generating income, then you're going to struggle. You're going to play that victim mindset. There's so much out there. There's no reason why you can't learn. Crypto and digital assets are creating parallel systems that bypass traditional banking. You know what? You could actually get into these cryptocurrencies and like XRP and some of these strong ones. They're low right now. Like the opportunity to get in is huge right now. You could become a millionaire. I mean, it's going to be so big because they're already being adapted in the financial sector. The transition we're in, this is not the end of opportunity, it's a redistribution of it. So they're going to redistribution how people work, how we operate, how just everything. All of that is going to change. The economy is shifting towards digital value creation. Creators, coders, consultants, investors, and small business owners who leverage tech will lead the new wave. So what are you good at? What, and just add new skills. Learn more about AI and how you could maybe create income from that. The financial institutions are evolving into digital trust utilities, meaning people who understand decentralized finance and tokenized income will win early. There's a lot of changes happening with dealerships, even how salesmen are going to operate. They need to build a brand. They're going to be more of the relationship behind at the dealership rather than just a transaction, because the transaction itself can all be automated with a chat bot and all of that. So really the salespeople are going to be the relationship at, the face of the dealership. They're going to be the advocate for the customer. So it's critical to build a brand. You as well. I mean, if you're not in a car dealership, it doesn't matter where you're at, you got to build a brand. Small business owners that leverage tech will lead the new wave. A lot of small credit unions that have been doing indirect lending, they may not adapt with fintech and all these different ways of how they're going to be quickly doing loans automatically. They're going to be, it just won't make sense for them to adapt it, and so they'll probably merge with another credit union that is doing it. So people who understand decentralized finance and tokenization income will win early. Growth mindset shifts. This is what I really want to shout from the rooftop. Have a growth mindset. Okay, people are freaking out. Maybe they are. Crisis, this is a collapse. This is just the catalyst, okay, to rebuild. That's all. Okay, this is the catalyst. Something had to happen in order for us to advance. Instead of asking what's ending, start asking what's being built. Yeah. Learn new income models, tokenization, affiliate ecosystems. You can be affiliate. You can make money by sharing products and services, digital IP, AI-driven services, and impact-based entrepreneurship. I'm all about faith, fire, freedom, health, fitness. Those things are going to be so important moving forward. Okay. Uncertainty is an invitation to reclaim control. Yeah. Believe me, guys. Okay. I understand. When systems shift, it's those who stay grounded in truth, discipline, and adaptability that rise to the lead. We were never meant to be tethered to old systems. You know what that means? Tethered meaning, like, you see that graphic where the elephant is like, he's chained to a tree, but then actually the chain isn't even hooked to the tree, but he just stays there thinking that he's stuck at the tree, right? That's tethered. That's believing that you have to stay in those old environments, around those old people that are toxic, around the same industry because that's all you've done. just so many things. Like you could be tethered to old systems, old beliefs, old ways of doing business, everything. Okay. But we were meant to walk in power and create new ones. If you've had trauma, y'all, I've had trauma, but I didn't let it hold me back. I moved forward. I advanced. I was, you know, top producer. I crushed it. I didn't have victim mindset. I was untethered, like unstoppable. Like I felt it. I know it happened, but I moved through it. Dancing, being creative, having fun, all these things help with that. It's energy that can get stored in us, and we can either release it and don't let it bother us, because we've moved, we've called it out, we know it's there, we let it go. Okay? That's how you do it. And there's coaches and different people that can help you through that if it's really deep. So, y'all, if this episode gave you any clarity or hope or have increased your faith in yourself, or you believe someone else needs to hear this message that's worried about the economy, worried about their income, worried about what they're going to do next, this is where we can turn this into a breakthrough. Okay, share this with them. We want to I'm about building people up, and I'm more direct. I'm the type of person that wants to be direct and clear, so you're not going, what are they saying? So if there's anything I can do to help you, please send me your comments. I do go back through and look at them, and I appreciate you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.